Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, I got a message from Dale. I got an email asking me how I go about mounting these full-size motors in the Marx diesel shells, the 588, the 799, the 112. They all come with a micro motor, of course. And how do you go about mounting a full-size motor? As you see, I've got a full-size single reduction motor here, minus its light bulb, of course. And I removed the front crossbar. Now this will drop into the shell, as you see, but how do you mount it? There's really not enough room or enough material here to put a screw through it if it has the front crossbar on it. So I want to do a quick video on how to mount this shell. Now, as you see, there is no room in there at all for a light bulb. So what you have to do is use a grain of wheat bulb and actually mount it in the lens. And you can get a grain of wheat bulb either mounted in this or behind it, and then run the wires down to the socket and the chassis for ground. The thing is, how do you mount that motor in the shell without screws? Well, a really simple way to do this, it's an expedient, but it works. It actually works quite well. Is you go down to Dollar Tree and you find these foam mounting tabs. And these are double stick tabs. They've got adhesive on both sides. It's actually quite an aggressive adhesive. So you take one tab, take it off and stick it to the top of the E-unit, just like that. And pull off the protective cover. Take a second one and stick it on top of the first one, just like that. And then pull off the protective cover. Now, that is exactly the right height to mount this in this shell. So you drop it in, give it a push, and the motor is mounted. It's virtually instant. Now, you have to use a grain of wheat bulb. There's not enough room in there to put a bulb in. Even the flat LED bulbs, there's not enough room physically in this shell to accommodate a headlight on the motor. So you've got to mount it separately by mounting a bulb either in the shell and running wires down, or using a LED mounted in the lens itself. But in any case, it works. It's virtually instant. If you want to take it back out, just pull it back out, but it'll stay in there as long as you want it to. So let me put this on the rail, and I've got a consist already on here. We don't need the tender, but it's on there, so we'll go ahead and run it. But as you see, this works absolutely perfectly. And once you add a headlight, you have a really decent Marx diesel with a full-size motor in it. Now, I bypassed the E-unit. This was an old motor that was dead, and I bypassed the E-unit in it, so it runs forward only. But the nice thing about it is that it's running, and it has a full-size motor. And this thing will pull virtually anything you want to pull. It works, it's simple, it only takes a minute. It's an expedient, and it costs virtually nothing. I mean, this works really, really well. If you want to get that motor back out, just grab it by the front, pull it back down, and when you want to put it back in, you do have to replace the mounting tabs. But these tabs are really, they come in really handy. They really do. They're simple. They're really inexpensive. At a dollar store, you get a huge roll of them for $1. Actually, Dollar Tree. Anyway, I just want to do a quick video on a really simple way to mount a full-size motor in these small diesel shells. As you see, this one's got the window quarters broken out. It was just an old junk shell that I had. But I want to see the quickest, easiest way to mount a motor in this, and that is the easiest way I have found. You can do a better job if you want to. If you notice, the top of the coil lines up almost exactly with that smokestack. So you could epoxy a piece of wood or even a nut on top of the coil itself and put a screw down through the stack and hold it. But using those mounting tabs, it's simple. It only takes a minute. It's virtually permanent. It'll stay in there until you pull it back out again. The nice thing about it, of course, is you can pull it back out again. And again, as far as mounting a headlight, a headlight on the motor itself, there's just absolutely no room in there to mount the motor with a light bulb in it, even the flat LEDs. So you have to use a separate bulb. And what I do is mount a grain of wheat bulb either behind or actually in the lens, stick it back in, run a couple of wires down, fold them over, stick the motor in, and you have a diesel with a headlight. In this case, we have a diesel with a full-size single reduction motor. If you use one with an E unit, you've got forward and reverse, and this will pull virtually anything that a standard size Marx locomotive will pull. Gives you a really, really super expeditious way to mount a full-size motor in one of these shells without having to change the shell. And as you see, you don't have to add screws, you don't have to epoxy anything. Those two mounting tabs on top of the E unit, stick the motor in, and that motor will stay in there until you remove it yourself. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video. Like I said, this is for Dale. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.